for the first time, felt a fear for her family. She was cut off from them. The university was a 4-hour bus ride from Sugar City. Witnesses reported that the prayer group had brought supplies. First, they lit their scrap wood wrapped in a kerosene-soaked rag. Then, they threw their stones through the shop's front window, shattering its panes into long knives. In silent unison, they threw their torches through the broken window. The torches had, by grotesque chance, landed adjacent to 3 tin drums of coconut oil. The heat of the flames had caused one of the drums to explode, leaving its accelerant smeared across the shop floor. From there, it took only a few minutes for the entire shop to surrender to the flames. As it did, they dropped to their knees, clasped their hands together, bowed their heads, and prayed. Unbeknownst to the four, the shop's owner had decided to buck the rules and stay in his store overnight. He had heard rumors of looting during the curfew and thought he could shoo off any criminals if he slept near the back of his store, cricket bat in hand.
"Where was the fire engine?"
the announcer pleaded.
"Some say it took its time to get there, that they knew it was an Indian in trouble, and this did not merit haste. Some others say that it arrived in time to save Ram Maharaj, but the firemen simply joined the crowd and watched him die."
In her mind's eye, Bhumi could hear it, smell it, taste the sour odor of burning hair as the man staggered out the door. The announcer said that his cries were so loud they masked the rumble of the burning building behind him. He whimpered and shrieked and fell to the ground, where he writhed until he didn't.
"They are not satisfied with taking the government."
The announcer's exclamation was so loud it crackled in her radio speakers.
"Sisters and brothers, leave if you can. Our fathers and grandmothers left their homes to come here. Now it's our time."
Bhumi felt a shiver grow from her shoulders to her spine. She raced into the dorm's empty common room. The women's dormitory for scholarship recipients housed only 4 students, and Bhumi rarely ever saw the other 3. In a far corner of that Spartan space was a black rotary phone placed next to an old corduroy chair she'd often sunk into between classes. That was before. For the past year, Bhumi had been swept up into the wave of activity on campus surrounding the lead-up to the national election. Students held debates, the youth parties leafleted, and finally, in April, a left-leaning Labour government led by a handful of Indians won the election. Most of them were young, too, only a few years out of university themselves. It was Bhumi's first election, and when Aarti joined the Labour Party's campus wing, Bhumi listened to her arguments with rapt attention. "We can join together, native and Indian, and build this country better," Aarti had earnestly told Bhumi. Bhumi felt a sense of infectious possibility. She cast her ballot down the party line. Almost immediately after the ballots were counted and the results were certified, the protests started. 1 week after the election, 2,000 native-borns had gathered in the streets of downtown Vilimaji, just across the street from the Parliament building, to protest that the Indian minority, numbering about 10% of the country, had gained too much power in the government. The protesters scrawled phrases onto cardboard signs. "We hate this Vulagi government," and "Left Party worst in world." The remaining signless protesters thrust their fists balled tight in the air. The protest was only a half-hour walk from campus, yet Bhumi dared not get close. Growing up, Bhumi had heard cautionary tales from family and friends about how the natives could get jungle-y, wild. This was one of those times. It was safest to keep a distance. She, along with the handful of other women in her scholarship program dormitory, watched the news report on the television in the common room in silence. She could make out more signs in the crowd. "Our God, our land. Vulagi, go home to India." The country had been us versus them since the empire brought the Indians to till the island's cane fields. In a fit of benevolent paternalism, the empire had sought to protect the old ways of native society, and in doing so forced them to stay in their villages under the power of their chiefs. The colony needed to make money, so the empire took tens of thousands of Indians and moved them here, to labor in sugar fields.